Malaysia 100-year cities event. My name is Yingshan. I'm from Taylor's School of Education. This is Fabian and this is Shifon. They are both from Taylor's School of Architecture, Building and Design. And maybe it's weird that School of Education student is here, but then you'll see how education and architecture are actually both very, very much connected and integrated. So before we begin, our presentation is actually called Creating an Intentional Learning Space, which is it's a project that's already been ongoing. We've already interacted with the communities, with the families that we are engaging in with for this project. Next slide, please. So, we got our problem and our idea from an ongoing research by Taylor's already. It's called Klang Rejuvenating the City, and it's about it is a research in which we have been studying all different parts of Klang and how we can improve the situation. And education is one of the crucial parts because we notice that students are dropping out of school. The rate of dropout is pretty high, and one of the main factors causing this is because they don't have a proper learning space at home. So that's our goal. We are trying to create an in-house intentional learning space where these students can study comfortably and do their homework after school. And we're trying to keep this at a very minimal cost because our area of focus is in the PPR Seri Berembang in Port Klang. And yeah, as mentioned, this is a collaboration between both schools, so they provide the design and architecture expertise, and School of Education provides all this pedagogical and learning environment ideas and knowledge. So what's in it for them? For the families that we're engaging with, it provides them an awareness of how learning spaces and education can actually shape their future. And because we are involved in this, we can also identify other issues in the house and highlight these issues to the authorities, which can actually then implement change. And then for us, students who are conducting this community service initiative, for us, it gives us a very big awareness of these different pockets of society that we don't really see. And for the architecture students, it's helping them to integrate compassion and empathy to their future clientele. And for us, it helps us to see how learning spaces and architecture is very involved in education. Our methodology is actually, there's 100 students from Taylor's doing this, and we're engaging with 10 families in these PPR Seri Berembang. And so what we've been doing is, our first step is we go and visit the house. We've already done that. You will see the pictures later from Fabian. We visit the house, and then we identify their learning space. Some of them is non-existent, they just study on the floor. Then we identify the challenges in designing these learning spaces, and then we come up with a proposal. And this proposal has to be approved by our lecturers. And then, after we've negotiated with the families, see what they like, what they don't like, whether they agree with everything or not, and then in the end we implement the proposal itself. These are a list of stakeholders. You'll see that it ranges from a lot. So it's us, the students, and then it's the community and the residents itself, it's the authorities. We are also engaged with the Member of Parliament of Klang. And then also that last one is the Klang City Rejuvenation Research Project, which has 3 chambers of commerce. I'll pass the floor to Fabian.
Hello, my name is Fabian and I'll be taking over from here. So as you see, this is Kuala Lumpur. This is KLCC, the whole area developed, and this is actually Kampung Medan. So you can see this fine line which actually separates both of it. It's a large contrast. So this area is very developed, but we are actually leaving behind the people who can't keep up. These are the people living in all the low-cost areas who can't afford to live like us. And these are the few photos of places like these, the PPR flats and all, which are very badly maintained and all. For our side, as Incha mentioned, it is at Taman Seri Berembang at Port Klang. The place is also much like Kampung Medan and the other PPR flats. It's badly maintained. It's low cost, but the units are still small and the place is still unhygienic. There are actually two cases for the units. The first case would be families of 5 to 6 members, and the second case would be families of 10, around 10. So the unit, this is the unit. This is the outside, the hallway, the neighboring units. As you can see, the unit is actually quite small. There's the bedroom, the study space and storage, kitchen, toilet, and prayer room. These two spaces, the study space and storage and bedroom, are not used as they are intended to be. They're not used as a bedroom, they're not used as a storage. I'll get to that later. And this unit, for this particular family, has been paid for by the owner's parents. So for the family, we have Mr. Prisami, who is a truck driver, who goes out early to work in the morning, very early in the morning, and comes back very late. He rarely gets to see his children, and he's not able to fix the things around the house. The mom used to work in a factory, but she had to quit to take care of her parents, in-laws, and her children. The 3 children are very athletic. They have medals, they have certificates, they have trophies in the room. They're also very studious and creative. So for the first problem, is the non-conducive study spaces, which Ning-Chan mentioned earlier. So when we came here, we noticed that the lack of furniture for a study space, poor lighting, poor ventilation, and there were holes and nails in the wall, which is very unsightly and quite dangerous because there were nails sticking out of the wall. When we came to analyze this area, right, we came to look at this problem, we realized that there are other problems and other factors which factor into this big problem, which are, the first one is the lack of storage spaces. So as I mentioned before, the bedroom was not used as a bedroom. It's now actually used as a storage room where they keep all their mattresses, bed frames and everything. The kitchen storage, the prayer room, the study space, they're all used as storage spaces. The place is also very badly ventilated. There's only one main fan in the living room and one portable fan which moves from room to room. The study space, they don't use the room as a study space because it's very poorly ventilated. There's only one window and one fan. And the bedroom, they also don't use it because it is also very hot at night. So all of them actually sleep in the living room floor, on the living room floor. Next would be insufficient lighting. The whole house is very dimly lit. There's only one in the front, and as you can see this toilet lighting, right? The door does not reach all the way up to the frame. This slot is actually for the light to come in, and for the kitchen, there is only one light up here. The light over there, they can only use the kitchen till around 5 p.m. because when it gets dark, the light is not sufficient enough to light the whole room for use. The next problem would be exposed wiring. These exposed wiring are live wires, so if they are cut or they are pulled down, it could be very hazardous and it could be a danger to the children because it will electrocute them. Next would be case B. Case B, imagine all the problems I told you earlier, but amplified by 2 or 3 times because the family earlier, there were 5 people in total, but now, in case B, there are 10 people in total in the room, 2 families. So as you can see, it's all cluttered with things, all everywhere. There is things everywhere. So next, our proposal. Our proposal is mainly to create this study space with a better study environment, proper furniture. So things like this, because of the limited space, we are thinking of things like foldable tables to reduce the amount of space used, better lighting, more storage areas for use, and because of creative, maybe a whiteboard, things like that, for them to write notes or draw. And I'll pass it back to you, Chan.
Thank you, Fabian. So yes, what you just saw is actually real cases and real problems of houses, 650 square feet, crammed like 2 families inside, right? And while we see that, like Malaysia, we're moving forward, very much forward, we're going into the future, but we don't want to leave all these unseen cases behind. So we feel that this quote by Mr. Jack Kemp really highlights this whole issue that economic growth does not mean anything if it leaves people out. So that's our project, that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that our future generation, our students have the right learning spaces so that they can cultivate good study habits, promote very good education for them so that they can further their own development into the future. Thank you.
We University for today. Thank you so much, Cambridge University, and to all 11 participating universities who have presented. Round of applause to everyone. Okay, sure. We'd like to invite Pernoliz Hashim, the CEO of Malaysia, for a little bit of review around art. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.